Hello, students of history and geography. I'm Mr. Tesch, and welcome to Global Chat, where we explore the ins and outs of history, political science, and now, human geography. Today, I'm here to talk to my AP Human Geography students about our class's country project. So our course is divided into 7 units. Each one of these units focuses on a different aspect of human geography. Now, I could stand at the front of my classroom and talk about these units all day, every day. But I think that for someone to really understand geography, they have to go and do some geography. And so that's what we're going to do this school year. We're going to do some geography. Each of us is going to be assigned a country at random, including me. Then, throughout the school year, we're going to build a website about that country's human geography. So that we address all 7 units of our course, we're going to build one web page for each unit. By the end of the school year, you're going to have built a really cool website about your country. Now, if you're intimidated by the idea of building a website, don't be. We're going to use Google Sites, and it couldn't be easier. I'm even providing a template for you to use if you're new to using Google Sites, so that all you have to do is input the information. So let's dive in and get started. So let me help you get started with your country project. This is our Canvas homepage. You're going to find the project instructions, like most things in our class, under modules. So I click on modules, and I'm going to go to Unit 1 because I want to start my project for Unit 1. And there it is, the Unit 1 country project. If I click on this, I'm going to be taken to the directions for this project, including this explainer video. The first thing you do is read these directions very carefully. Step 1 tells you to find which country you've been assigned. Look through the spreadsheet, find your last name, and find the country that you've been assigned. Step 2, this is the part you've been excited about. You're going to actually start setting up your website. Now, if you want, you can take a look at this sample site. If I click on this link, I'm going to be taken to the sample website, which looks like this. I put this website together based on a website from last year, although I've used some of the new requirements for this new project here. So I've updated this a little bit from what a student turned in last year. And if you follow this link, this is a blank template for this project. And if you want to, you just use this template to create your website. This might save you quite a bit of work. If you use the template, all you need to do is read the questions, do the research, and add your information here. There are places where you can click and you can upload images. You can incorporate YouTube videos or maps, and then click here and add text as you go along. On the right-hand side, you can also add elements by dragging and dropping. And it's really easy to remove an element by just clicking the delete button. That's basically what you need to know. If you want to change the image on the header, you just come to the header. If you hover over it, it lets you upload an image or select an image. Anyway, that's basically all you need to know about using Google Sites to create your website. Anything more than that, I'm going to help you with in class. Let's talk about what actually goes on every page. For the Unit 1 page, you're answering these 6 questions. Now, some of the units have a few less questions, some have a few more. But really, each question is going to require about a paragraph, sometimes 2 paragraphs of writing, just to kind of give you an idea of the scope. And you're going to need to include an image or a map or a table or some data with every question. The first question, I'm asking you to tell me about some toponyms in your country. I'm asking you to tell me about where your country is situated. And I'm asking you to describe some of the major physical features of your country to me. In part 2, I'm having you include 3 different types of maps about your country. So choropleth or cartograms or proportional symbol maps or dot density maps. I'm also having you tell me about the human development of your country. That's something that we addressed briefly in Unit 1, and it's something we look at again in Unit 7. For question 4, I'm having you tell me about some formal, functional, and perceptual regions in your country. In question 5, I'm asking you to talk to me about environmental determinism and what kind of resources and what kind of environment your country has and how that shapes your country's development. And finally, in question 6, I'm having you talk to me about environmental challenges that your country faces and sustainability issues. So that's really what you need for this Unit 1 page. Of course, you're probably wondering, well, where do I get this information? In the questions, I'll often give you clues where to look. So for question 2, for example, it says use chapter 1 of your textbook as a resource. For question 3, I tell you to use this website, which is the United Nations website, where they have the Human Development Index rankings and index scores for every country. We're going to be talking in class about what these numbers tell us. Okay, so really a lot of the information is here. If you just read this carefully, you should be able to do this pretty easily. Now, for a lot of students, the hardest part of this project is actually citing your sources. What does it mean to cite your sources? When you cite your source, all you're doing is you're telling your reader, hey, this is where I found this information. That's really all it means. What does that look like? Let's take a look. So if you look at my sample website, you'll see that here under formal region, for example, I tell the reader that I found this quote from Rubinstein 16. What does that mean? That means the author here is Rubinstein and it's page 16. Now, if I'm reading this, if I'm the reader, I'm going to look at the bottom in the works cited, find the Rubinstein book here at the very bottom, and you can see that this comes from the textbook, The Cultural Landscape, An Introduction to Human Geography. And again, this is on page 16. So if I wanted to go see more about this topic, I might try and look in Rubinstein's textbook on page 16. You'll notice these kinds of citations. This is what's called an in-text citation. You'll notice these kind of more and more throughout this project. Here I'm citing Jared Diamond with page numbers. Sometimes, if you just put the author's name in a sentence, you can simply put the page numbers in parentheses at the end of that sentence. Now, if you're wondering, well, how do I know how to cite these sources? How do I know what the format is? We're going to go over it in class. I've included some cheat sheets in the instructions as well. This is what's called the Purdue OWL, the Purdue Online Writing Lab. Purdue University's Writing Lab has this awesome website. It's one of the most popular. And it tells you how to cite sources in MLA style. So let's say I wanted to know how to create a works cited page, and I wanted to cite a book. I come here, and it tells me that in order to cite a book, I need the author's last name, first name, the title of the book, italicized, where the book was published, who published it, and when it was published, period. That's it. So I can really just follow this format. It even gives me some examples here, and I can cite any books. If I'm citing, let's say, a website, I might come to electronic sources, and I will look and find how to cite an entire website or a web page, perhaps, on a website. So here's a web page on a website. And if you follow this exact format, you'll end up with something that looks like this. Now, a works cited list, the entries are always alphabetized, okay? You'll notice that some of these have an author. If there's no author for something like the encyclopedia, there may not be an author. Then, of course, you start with the encyclopedia name, okay? Of course, this is by the editors of the encyclopedia, right? And that will get you a long way. Now, again, here at the bottom of the instructions, there are some tips for how to cite your sources, and there's also a rubric for grading. All right, that's pretty much everything you need to know about creating your country project. And if you still have questions, I'm here to guide you. I hope that through this project, you can see just how much geography helps us understand the world around us, and just how useful geography is in the real world. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.